Vikram had asked me this on the press conference day. He told me that we had done a good amount of business for the third part. It was a success party, and then I remember him telling me that now we should do another one. So I said, listen, I don't see us speaking beyond this, and I don't see films beyond a trilogy.
There's a quiet determination in his eyes. His smile is warm despite all the challenges he's faced in the past few years. Hello Imran and welcome to SpotboyE.
Thank you.
To begin with, I would like to tell you that The Kiss of Life is one of the most inspirational books I've ever read, and it was great to see you and your son walk the ramp at Lakme Fashion Week.
Thank you so much.
Does Ayan enjoy the spotlight?
Well, he loves it, and I was supporting him on this ramp walk, and I was actually in charge of getting him off stage, because the moment he gets there and he sees people and flash bulbs, then he's not leaving that space. So yeah, he loves it, and it's pretty interesting for a 6-year-old to love the adulation, and but he is that kind of person. I'm sure he's going to end up being an actor. He's got all the traits right now, and it's pointing that way. Who knows if that profession, if that idea changes? But he's telling me right now, Dad, I want to be an actor. So yeah.
Has he ever been on your sets?
He's come a couple of times on my sets. He's been 3 or 4 films. He, in the beginning, didn't really understand what it meant when I said I'm going for shooting, and that was just when he was like 3.5, 4 years old. So he used to think that I'm going to shoot someone, and he got even more confused when I took him on a film set, and I had a gun in a holster, so he thought I'm actually shooting for a living. But then he realized that there's a profession like acting, and then he's seen, kids in his class have been talking about it, and he's seen the newspaper, then he sees television. So he's kind of got a hang of what I do for a living. Yeah.
So, Imran, you said that you won't be a part of the 4th Raaz film. Why? Why did you say that earlier?
Vikram had asked me this on the press conference day. He told me that we had done a good amount of business for the third part. It was a success party, and then I remember him telling me that now we should do another one. So I said, listen, I don't see us speaking beyond this, and I don't see films beyond a trilogy. And that conversation died out. We got into another film, and post that, after 3 years, 1 year ago, he actually told me that I'm thinking of making another Raaz, and I almost got up and left. And that's when he narrated the script to me, and I was sold on that 20-minute narration, because for me, one of the reasons I was a bit skeptical is because we had kind of really taken horror to the mainstream and done that kind of business. I didn't know how and what the idea would be to go beyond that. And the audience has become very smart, especially in these kind of films, in this genre. They've had so much of exposure through a lot of films. You've seen films like Conjuring and Conjuring 2 come out here. So we're competing with Hollywood also. So it had to be, we didn't have the budget, so we had to, something in the script that would lend itself to a very, very new experience. And when I heard it, I was like, this is a brilliant film, well written, and it's ahead of the curve. The audience will keep guessing what's going on. It's you don't know how it's going to sum up, and it's got all the horror elements in it. Most of them have not been shown in the promo, because a lot of them have key areas of the suspense that have been, that are with those sequences, so we couldn't show it. The film will do justice to it.
So, what is your role in this movie?
I actually come in the film as, you could say, a savior. There's this woman and this man who have come into a city, they've come to Bucharest, Romania. The man has got his business venture there, and when they move into this new house, you see Kriti's character go through these paranormal experiences in the house. She's been seeing something in the house, and the husband thinks she's gone completely mad. That's when this other man comes into her life, and you realize that they've had a past. They've had a relationship which was a very turbulent relationship, didn't end very well. And this keeps you guessing, is this man actually here to save her, to help her? Is there something else at play? Is there actually a ghost in that house? Is someone playing foul? And he wins the audience's trust from the first scene because he comes in and he narrates exactly what she's been dreaming and seeing in the house, and there's no way that he could have known. And that's when she starts trusting him, the audience starts trusting him. Now you have to realize after that, is he playing dirty? Is the husband, is something wrong with his woman? What exactly, and where is it headed? So yeah.
As much as it sounds interesting, I'm sure it's going to be creepy because the trailer is very spooky.
It is. And there's just the icing. There's actually not much that we've kept in the trailer because, like I said, there are a lot of things that will be unraveled, and we're keeping that for the theatres. So it's just the tip of the iceberg, what we've shown you all.
Talking about your co-star Kriti, she's a big name down south, and this is her Bollywood debut. So how is she as a co-star?
She's very good. I remember meeting her for the first time, and I heard that she'd done a lot of films down south, and she told me that she's very scared. She's doing this film because there's a certain kind of, I guess, characters that they play down south. They're slightly more dramatic there, different kinds of films, and here she had to kind of slightly underplay that, but she fit in. She fit in very well from the first day. She performed exceedingly well. She's a very difficult character, a woman who's been haunted by these things in the house, constantly reacting to things that are not there, not around you. So she's done that very well.
Vishesh films have been in horror genre for a while now.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that space?
I love the space. I've been a horror fanboy for the longest time. I've grown up watching a lot of horror films. I've watched probably every horror film under the sun. From English films to the Ramsey films to our films that we've made here. It's just, I love the experience that horror gives the audience in a cinema hall. I remember going and seeing a film, The Ring, in a cinema hall. It's very palpable when you see the audience react, get scared, and suddenly they burst into this laughter because they're kind of embarrassed of the way they've reacted on screen to a horror scene. It's a very unique experience that no other film gives you. And I love horror films. I've watched most of the cult classic films. And now horror's come of age here. We have seen that it's really moved into the mainstream with a franchise like Raaz also. And I think it's here to stay. We definitely have a huge audience that loves horror, that loves to watch these kind of films. And I hope it just grows over the years. And Bhatts have really pioneered because Vikram has made the first Raaz. Then he let go of the second one. The third one, he came back to the foray and he kind of created box office history as far as horror films go. We clocked in almost at 84 crores at the box office.
Yes.
So that was pretty good for an adult horror film with a limited audience, supposedly limited audience. But it did well. So yeah, they're the pioneers, and Vikram kind of monopolizes this genre.
Imran, do you believe in ghosts or spirits?
No, I don't. I'm a skeptic. I just do horror films. I like to scare people with those horror films. There are a couple of theories as far as horror, as far as ghosts go. I'm a skeptic, because obviously I've not had an experience. I've not had a paranormal experience. At the same time, there's a voice inside me that says that, it's like our faith in God. We haven't seen God, but we still believe in a force, in a supreme being there. And we don't have to see a demon or a spirit or a ghost. There are negative energies out there, and so it's a big question mark. I would say I'm a respectful skeptic. Someone had to say that, I'd say that okay, probably there is a small probability of that existing. I might not have seen it, but maybe there are such things if people have had such experiences. It might not be in some cases a figment of our imagination. So that's a big question mark, and there's been a big debate for a very, very long time. There are a lot of unexplained things in cultures, and for that matter, every religion and culture has some kind of reference to a spirit, ghost. Like Hindu cultures, like this, they call it the bhoot. They have in Japanese and in Chinese cultures. Yeah, Islam doesn't believe really in ghosts per se, but we have jinns in Islamic culture. So it doesn't come out of nowhere. There is something that obviously there is a truth to this, and I'm waiting to find out. I'm going to meet a ghost soon. I haven't so far.
How do you overcome your fear?
I have a lot. Like anyone, I definitely have fears, and they're not just about things like it could be the darkness, and that's not necessarily that I'm dark. I'm scared that there's a ghost there. It's just that you're just frightened of probably just the dark. You just have this psychological thing that what if you trip and fall in the dark? So there's always some light on my room when I'm sleeping. There's one thing that is not related to ghosts, but has left a lasting impact on me, and there's a film called Shining when I watched when I was a kid.
Okay.
I have a bit of a fear with hotel corridors and walking down empty hotel corridors, and that probably is through visuals of that film. And that's a sign of a great horror film. I think if those visuals stay in your mind for years and years after you see it, that's a sign of a good horror film. Other things could be basic fears that actors have: anonymity, people not recognizing you, your career ending, fear of losing your loved ones. So we all have fears. Yeah.
Have you ever dreamt of a ghost possessing you?
I would if I believed in ghosts, but there's no fear that way. No.
Don't you think that such films are propagating superstitions in our society?
No, I think it's more art imitating reality. We make these films because there's, I guess, a perception out there, there's a belief out there that things like this do exist. And that's what you build a script and a film around. So there are people saying that there are paranormal experiences that people have had that it cannot be explained by science. So we make films, and we don't really propagate it. It's us, it's art imitating life, and we have to depict those things. And a person who is superstitious is going to be superstitious anyways, despite of seeing a film or not seeing a film. So that also, your superstitions are based on your fears. That also is another dimension to it. So yeah.
Nawazuddin Siddiqui said yesterday in a press meet in Indore that you have great fun while romancing heroines, and he would love to be in your shoes. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I would definitely say I have a great time, but it is also a tough task. It is, this whole label and image, so to speak, does get to you sometimes. Sometimes I just want to do a film without any girls, without the romancing, and do probably a serious film on probably a topical film like Nawaz does. So I think the grass is always greener at the other side of the fence. It's not like I'm not complaining. It's always nice working with the ladies, but sometimes it's also good to have a departure. So I'd love to take Nawaz's place, and I would say please sometimes take my place in the films that I do.
Indeed. You wrapped up the first schedule of Badshah Ho.
Yeah.
You are sharing the screen space with Ajay Devgan for the third time.
Yes.
And how is he as a person and as a co-star?
Very chilled out, very nice, really is dedicated to his work and his profession. One of the few actors who are extremely secure, doesn't really put his two bit in if he feels that the director's vision, he obviously puts his point across, but if he is convinced otherwise from the director, he has no ego to go with the director's vision. Is never insecure of someone else's place in a film, which I think is a great thing, and is a wonderful actor and a co-actor.
Imran, you recently announced your first home production movie, Captain Nawab. What
Yeah.
is the movie about?
Well, it's too early to actually speak about it. It's based on real life events, and it's a very interesting journey about this army officer. It has a lot of conflicts. It's got some wonderful sequences. There's action. There's of course the romance bit. There is the love interest, or rather two love interests, and that's all I can talk about right now. The script has been written, so it should be ready in the next 2 months. Because I feel that scripts are the most important part when you're making a film. It is the most important part. If you don't get a script right, I feel you shouldn't go on floors. So I'm waiting to hear a bound, full, final script, and then we go for shooting after Badshah, hopefully in Jan.
Yes. Tell us about the music of Raaz Reboot, and which is your personal favorite?
The music in Raaz Reboot is really taking it back to the roots, like Raaz 1. We had phenomenal music in that. I wasn't in that. There's Rino Bipasha did exceedingly well. The story lent itself to the music. And that was the reason why a lot of non-horror fans came to watch the Raaz franchise, because they said that there's more to it than just, and it's not a bloody gory film like you generally have horror films. It has a great love story. In this film, it has a love story and triangle. There is fantastic music. There are emotions. You will feel for the character. It's an emotional journey, and along with that, it's placed in a very chilling world with a lot of horror, with supernatural and paranormal experiences that these characters are having. And I think that's the USP, and music being the key driver. So my track would be Lo Man Liya. Great, fantastic song, great lyrics, great melody, and it's, I think, something that really is also the soul of Raaz, which is Aankhein Teri, which is the theme of Raaz. That also is a wonderful track.
What are your next projects in pipeline?
There's Captain Nawab, there's Badshah, and there are 2 more projects which will be signed soon. So we'll know in the next couple of days.
Okay, thank you so much, Emraan.